Hello YouTube, welcome back to MJ Texas, and today we're doing the first video of the Falling in Reverse Trilogy, Losing My Mind. Interesting facts about the release of this song. It was released in 22 February 2018, where the song was released with its music video. It wasn't released and then later on they made a music video for it. It was released simultaneously, and that was almost a year after their fourth album, Coming Home. It was ranked number 50 on the Billboard Hot Rock Songs chart. There's already currently 16 million plus views on Spotify currently of the song, and it was their second single ever. Where the first single was I must say Bad Wolves, but that other single that eventually also played part in the first album. But this one was different because it kicked off the singles era, where it was completely standalone singles. Now, except for the fact that it's a trilogy where it wasn't ever implemented into an album. And another few interesting facts, it's currently over 20 million views on YouTube, so it's gained traction. It's gained a lot of traction. It's very popular though, even though and it's the first of trilogy, and honestly, this was very difficult, but I'd rate it my personal least favorite between the three. It doesn't mean it's a bad song. I really enjoy the song. It's a great song. Just if I have to choose between the three, I'd say it's number 3. And it was the first one released. They were actually released in order, which doesn't always happen, because sometimes they get released on separate dates. No, what I mean is not separate dates, but they get sometimes released in different orders to sort of confuse the audience what. So in the beginning, from the beginning, this was set as it's a trilogy. You would see also, if you went and watched Losing My Mind, Losing My Life, and Drugs in Order, you'd see it was meant as a trilogy. There's even a story behind it, and I'll get to all that soon. So, excuse me. So first up, we're gonna go have a little bit look in the lyrics. So I'm gonna go through different things behind it. I'm gonna go look through the lyrics. I'm going to look through the story in the music video as particular, and I'm going to look at some visual notes. So just some notes about the visuals and about how they did things, or some key aspects that were put into the video for some reasons or as a theme. First off, in the very first line, I've got this motherfucking word in my palm. Don't tell me to calm down. Now, Ronnie doesn't often start his songs with like swearing. Don't get wrong, he doesn't mind swearing. He doesn't care, right? If he feels that is appropriate to say, he says it. That's how it is. And I actually honestly believe that is a sign of genuinism in music, and where it's not just swearing to swear. It's like to make a point, and that's the way Ronnie Radkey does his music as well. Is he goes and I've actually made here a note of the motherfucking one, where like Ronnie where he's exclaiming, "Listen to me and what I have to say." Where he's sort of like getting the attention. He's using that to sort of get the attention of people, being like immediately like shock factor. Yeah, listen to what I say. Now I've got your attention. Listen to me. And immediately after that, he's like, "Don't tell me to calm down." And so a bit of backstory, because I need to give a little bit of backstory behind thing. So Ronnie he's always had a passion for combining genres. He did that when he was in Escape the Fate, and he's been doing it ever since the beginning of Falling in Reverse. Now, especially in the first album, it wasn't as dominant, but as they progressed and he became more, I want to say, more in where they grew more into their sound and into what they want to do. They've combined different genres. They've combined metal, they've combined rap, they've combined rock, they've combined orchestral, yes, orchestral, um, symphonic, melodic. Um, they've combined so many different genres into their music. And Ronnie actually stated, he actually spoke about the song in a statement at a stage where his exact words were, I pretty much do whatever I want when it comes to music, and nothing is off limits to me. I spent my whole musical career trying to be different and make songs that people think shouldn't go together. Dying is Your Latest Fashion was my first record, and that's a prime example. A bunch of different genres on one album. Nothing has changed since then. When people say you aren't allowed to play that kind of music, you are this kind of music. It makes me want to do it even more. And I actually do respect that. I actually respect that because personally, as a musician myself, I enjoy all genres of music. Of course, there are some I listen to more regularly than others. That's fine, everyone has preference. But Ronnie has come where he's like, I don't want to confine myself. He came and he's like, I don't want to confine myself. And what happened exactly was there was a song, he came out with a song Alone. And the problem a lot of the fans and a lot of the industry had with the song is he brought rap into it. And remember, that was back in a time when that wasn't a common thing. The whole thing, Ronnie actually started off the thing with rap and other songs, where he combining genres. Before that, it was more plain set a genre, especially in a singular song. He had other bands that did different genres as well, but they did in different songs. Where he came, he combined them, and there was a lot of backlash. He got a lot of backlash about that, and for a while, they didn't really do the rap deal. Then came this song in 2018, and where he was like, listen, I love doing rap, I want to do this. And just because you people say I can't, I am going to do it. And look at it, it's a hit. Like, it's not top of the ranks, I'll grant you that, but damn, that is still impressive feats. Especially if you look at an industry as cutthroat and as influential as the music industry, where it's literally every single day you're getting new songs. There's new songs, new bands, new musicians, new artists, new styles being developed. It's a constantly growing and developing industry. And for him to actually come and be like, listen, I don't care what people are saying, and do something new, well, not completely new, but something new in the sense of where they actually went away from it for a while and then came back and made it big, and where he even still implements that to this day with some of his newer songs, like for example Falling I almost said Falling in Reverse, where you look at, for example, Popular Monster. Now Popular Monster came out last year, last year. Now Popular Monster, I'm talking under correction, but Popular Monster, he really brought home the rap, and you can actually see even that he's developed it. It's so amazing at that time, and I've always liked his rap. Just there was a lot of backlash, and even in time and time again, he's proven himself as a musician and an artist. So that's the whole thing of when he said, like, don't tell me to calm down. Alright, we're going back to the lyrics, where he's like, don't tell me to calm down. That was basically him being like, listen, don't tell me to not do what I want to do. Don't tell me to explore. Don't tell me. And I mean, if to be honest, I'm glad he didn't allow them to do that, because he's such a multi-talented artist that you wouldn't have amazing hits like he has been released in the last few years if he allowed them to do that. So, and now, alright, so I'm getting off track, but see, that's what I mean. I am passionate. I can talk about this for hours. I can literally sit here and talk about it for hours. I won't do that to you. But, alright, so, getting back to lyrics. Then the next line is like striking match, igniting the track while I'm typing in caps. It's on now. So that's over him like the declaration of war. Striking match, igniting the track. Igniting something was a general sign of a war back in the older days. And typing in caps, it's on now. Sort of like bringing older declaration of war and a new our modern declaration of war sort of together, and I really love that. We're sort of like declaring war on the industry and being like, listen, I'm not going to limit myself, and his declaration of war on the limitations set on him by the industry and by people in general. And he's like the rap Casanova with a cash in his sofa in the back of a Rover. Just being basically, he's a rap Casanova. Being like, he can rap and he knows it. Six back in the backpack, and I'm cracking open, sipping. I'm trapped in the moment. Which is basically him like being like, listen, I'm gonna sit back, crack open a beer or what have you, a beverage, and I'm gonna watch it all unfold because I'm trapped in the moment. Sorry, I'll get this sorted out. Don't worry. All right. Where he's literally like, listen, I'm just gonna chill back and do my thing and just watch the world sort of do its own thing. And he's like, open your eyes because you're never gonna know if your next move might be your last. So, and in a way that's very philosophical, where it's like, listen, open your eyes because I don't know if this is gonna be my last song. I don't know if it's ever gonna be my last thing. And there's a lot of depth behind it, especially if you look at the Ronnie Radkey video I did about Derrick Jones and what have you, that he had no idea. He had no idea that song would be the last song they did together, would be their last song. And that's the thing, he's trying to live in the moment. It's like living a lie. Everybody's always gonna bring up my past. Now I've talked about his past in video, about everything that happened there and all the troubles he's had with relationships and all that. And he's like, well, I'm past that. My interests up, my bag's packed. So he's like, I've gone over that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm over that, and I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt sort of deal. On the NASDAQ with Rad Rap. So now I don't know what NASDAQ is. So for those of you who also don't know, I had to actually go search it up. NASDAQ Inc. is an American multinational financial service corporation that owns and operates 3 stock exchanges in the US. Right, so they are multinational. They are a big deal in the financial world, apparently. That I assume. So when he is like, I'm the NASDAQ with Mad Rap, it's almost like he is declaring he's a multi-talented individual with potential. And I actually love that because that's all linking in with his whole point of the song. His point of the song, the whole theme behind Losing My Mind is sort of being like, I'm losing my mind with everything people are trying to tell me, and I'm losing my mind. So and it's him breaking out of it. So now I'll get to the common theme in the trilogy a little bit later on. But right, and then he goes on, and the chorus, I'm not ready to change, I'm doing my thing. Also, same theme, you're pointing the blame, I'm not ready to choose. It was sort of like, that was sort of directed to the people that want to limit him, and he was like, listen, I'm not ready to choose. He's not ready to choose, he wants to do different things. He wants to do different genres, he wants to do different aspects, And he's like, so don't get confused and stay the hell out of my way. And I love that because this whole thing lyrically is like a declaration of war, where it's like, listen, don't get in my way, don't limit me, don't tell me to calm down, don't, um, it's on now, he's like literally just declaring war, and he's like, listen, I don't care what you people have to say, I don't care what you people think, I am going to do what I want to do, I'm going to do it my way, and I actually respect that in a musician, because you get so many music, and that's the main reason why pop music and pop musicians are hated sometimes in the industry, because they fall under the norm. They go into what is expected of them instead of doing their own thing and working their own, doing, like, for example, creating their own type of genres or their own type of music. It becomes generic. Now, I don't have an issue with pop music myself, don't get me wrong. I love some pop songs, there are pop songs that are some of my top favorite songs. But that is the main reason why it's hated in the community and usually ridiculed, is because they become generic. They tend to become generic, and they don't bring out their own music or their own inner sense. You understand what I'm saying, right? So why do you believe you're losing your mind in everyone but me? And that is a very good question. That's a very good question. So he's like, why do you believe you're losing your mind in everyone but me? So losing your mind here works as a double entendre. Alright. Where losing your mind, like, if you go crazy about something, you're like, I'm losing my mind, it's amazing. Oh wow, I'm losing my mind. And in another way, losing your mind, literally in the other sense of where you're losing yourself, you're losing your mind of self. And I actually love that, because that really comes through as the double meaning in both ways, and you can interpret it either way you want, but I really love that. And he's like, I'm losing my mind again. And where he's like, I've been through this, I've been through a lot of crap, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. If you really want to know more and you haven't checked the video, do check the video, because I go a lot into detail about that. Well, not a lot in detail, but I go into detail about that. And he mentions that a lot here. There's a lot of mentioning of that, because at that time people were still ridiculing him a lot about his past and that, and they were still looking very directly into that. I believe it's not as strong anymore in the more recent years, like in the last while, because people have been starting to recognize him for the musician he is. And he's like, I've seen the hardships, lived in darkness, through the mud into the marshes. So marshes, through the mud into the marshes. So marshes, if you look at that visualization of the lyrics, where it's like through the mud into the marshes, it's almost like rising up, going, he went living in darkness through the mud into the marshes, where he went from a very dark place to still a darker, murky sort of setting, if you look at it physically wise. And it's very poetic of his life and stuff he went through, with his mom and his family, and just the way he grew up and what happened to him when he was growing up and in his teen years and his young 20s. My reputation is tarnished, but regardless, I'm awesome. I actually love this line, because a lot of people think it's sort of like arrogant. I don't see it as arrogant. It's sort of him just realizing his own self-worth, and he's like, listen, even though my reputation is tarnished through everything that I've done, I still know I'm a good person. I still know I'm a musician, a talented musician. And that is what he wants to be, and that's what he wants the world to see and know. So he like saw the gossip from my luck up go colossal. That was of course with referring to the time he was arrested, and then I blossomed to the boss of this rock stuff. So it's like sort of like declaring I'm the boss of this rock environment, because they, I almost said unfortunately, but not unfortunately. It's just the band Falling in Reverse falls more under your rock category. Even though he does implement so many other genres into it, it does still stay as a mainly rock themed band. Um, and he's like, and I'm never gonna stop till the cops come. It's basically like, listen, you're gonna I'll go on living my life until whatever happens again. If he gets locked up again, which I actually doubt it, because literally he's changed so much, and the people and friends he's built up in his life as well has been helping him through this stuff as well, and I really believe that he will achieve what he has set out to achieve, because he's proven that so far, for himself and for the world. And it's like, what I'm really trying to say is, say to my face, and if it won't stay there, out of my way. So he's literally like, and I actually have that same mentality personally wise, that I'm like, listen, if you've got something to say to me, say it to my face. If you're not willing to say it to my face, just bugger off, stay out of my way. Because I'm like, listen, don't go and say something behind my back, right? Don't go say stuff behind my back you're not willing to say to my face. And that's all what that's the same thing he's saying. It's like, listen, don't gossip and say crap about me behind my back if you're not willing to say it to my face. Rocking shows, lock and load, stop me, no. I'm repping the new shit, the essence of music. I'm blessed with the fusion of both. So it's sort of like that's also implementing again with a mix of genres, where he's like, listen, I'm blessed with this. I'm blessed with the fusion of both. I'm blessed with the talent to be able to implement all these genres into one. I'm not ready to change. I'm doing my thing. Alright, so it's just again the repetition of the verse, of the chorus, and then it's like, ever since I was a little boy. And I love the way they do this in this song, where the rest is like melodic or rap, and then all of a sudden this literally comes down and he is just saying it, and he's saying it like a poem, like almost like a motivational speaker, in the sense of where it's just like, ever since I was a little boy, I always thought the world was going to end my lifetime, so I tried to seize every opportunity as it came to me, because I believed it would stop the sky from falling down one more day. And I really enjoy that, because that's because of the way he delivers those lines. It's like, it's not just a song. It's from his heart. It's from him as a person, from him as Ronnie, not him as Falling in Reverse, not him as a musician. It's him as a person, where he's like. And it comes in me, it's like, but the older I got, the more I realized that I cannot save the world. I'm not a superhero, I'm not perfect, I'm just me, a human being. And that's very humbling. And the thing is, if you go through his stuff, he's actually a very humble person. Well, a lot of people might disagree. I really, really believe he's a humble person. If you want, that's the thing about Rodney. He actually has a reaction channel. He actually does reactions based on other people's reactions of his music, and I actually find that very interesting, because that's not a concept you find very often. And even that time, he's very humbling. Like, of course, he don't ever attack him where it's unnecessary. Like, if it's just for fun or better, he'll laugh or off or what have you. But the thing is, if you look at there's three examples I can name off the tip of my tongue, that they are people that will be often seen as very aggressive or very mean-spirited people in just the common eye, but it's just because of how passionate they are in their art, in their craft, and that is people like Ronnie Radkey, Eminem. right? Eminem has a reputation, especially like don't ever attack Hallie. If you attack Hallie, his daughter, you're asking for trouble. Um, but because that's very personal, that's very personal, and I don't agree with doing stuff like that when it comes to music or that. Listen, if you've got a problem with that person, attack that person, not the family or their loved ones. I completely agree with him retaliating on that. Um, Gordon Ramsay, right? Taking a bit of a break from the music side. Gordon Ramsay, he often comes through as a very mean person, but if you really go look at all his shows or what have you, or all the times he's been on screen or with people, you go talk, you go and talk actually to his family. He's actually a very loving and passionate person. The thing is, just don't mess with his craft. That's his livelihood. And the same thing can be said of Eminem and Ronnie Radkey. Don't mess with their livelihood. Don't mess with what they have spent their life dedicating their time and their effort to. And that speaks volumes. It actually speaks volumes because that just shows how passionate they are about what they do. Um, right, so let's take the throne and break the cycle. Um, so that's all like referring almost in a sense to a hierarchy. Like like you guys have said hierarchy. Let's take that throne and let's break the whole cycle. Let's break it. And I love it because it's sort of like he's declaring war, but at the same time he's like, listen, let's do this together. Let's get together. Let's all together break the cycle. Why follow the norm? Why follow everything? And that's the thing of music, especially your very, very uh, successful musicians, is they went and they broke the norm. They broke the norm in some sense or another. You look at Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston broke the whole thing with her voice. I mean, damn, that woman had a voice on her. And so very few people can ever reach that exact height that she reached because she broke the norm. She went out of the norm. That wasn't a norm when she came in. That wasn't popular. That wasn't what people expected. And that is why she is still known to this day as a successful artist. So why do you believe in everyone? Why do you believe everyone but me? So again, just being like, why do you lose your mind? Why do you go crazy about all these other artists but not about me? Why do you believe in them but not me? And it's like every single day we kill our idols, and that's very poetic and very true. Very, very deep conversation go in there, but I'm not going to go into that now. But you won't break me down, right? You're losing your mind. We're losing our minds, and I love that. That is called a progressive lyrics. All right. So where there is in the lyrics, it sometimes happens in the chorus. I know when I've written a song a while ago, and I've done that technique where I actually love doing that, where I have progression in my lyrics, and you can actually hear in this. And of course, sometimes you change the tone, emotion, what have you that put behind it to even exclaim that even more. And this is a way of progressive lyrics, where it's like, listen, where the whole time I was like, you're losing your mind, I'm losing my mind, we're losing our mind. Where it's like we all lose our minds, we all go crazy about things we love, we all go, we is like, listen, at first it was you, then me, us. And I love that because he comes and he not just being like it's all about me or it's all directed at you. It's like we are all people, we're all just human beings, and we all lose our minds, we all have passions, we all have things we love, but we all have things that break us down. um, and then it goes into the chorus again, and then of course the end. I'm not ready to change, I'm doing my thing, you're losing your mind, you're losing your mind again. You know I'm not ready to choose, so don't get confused, I'm losing my mind, losing my mind. um, and of course I can't replicate the delivery uh, that Ronnie actually brings through with it in his song, but there's just so much behind it. So we've covered that. Now we're gonna look a little bit at the song. We've done the song itself. Now let's go look a little bit at the music video. Right. So there are there are three themes. There are three themes present in this particular music video. Now I'll go through them all in detail, and even more in detail as we progress through the three songs, as we go through each song, because they do bring up, they do come back up. So of course this whole theme is like a cybergoth visual aesthetic idea, and I actually love it because it's also something new, something he hasn't done himself before, and it's not something that was very popular at the time in 2018. So I actually love it that he brought that out and be like, hey. And even later on, you'd see the same type of thing happening in with Bring Me the Horizon, where they've also brought that in some of their later songs as well, and I actually love that. Alright, so there are three very dominant things in the music video. First off, neon lights. That is a common theme throughout all three, the whole trilogy. Dream symbolism. I'll get more into detail in that as we go on. And for this music video specifically, there is a very strong contrast between, he uses a lot of red and blue lighting, and which usually switches between the two. And there's even a stage, I think that's, if I remember correctly, I'm talking on correction, where it's in the second chorus, around the second chorus, where it like flashes fast between the two. So what is the symbolism with the blue and the red? So I've went a little bit more research behind different meanings between blue and red. So this color blue symbolizes, blue is the color of the sky and sea. It is often associated with depth and stability. It symbolizes trust, loyalty, wisdom, confidence, intelligence, faith, truth, and heaven. Blue is strongly associated with tranquility and calmness. And then red is the color of fire and blood. So it is associated with energy, war, danger, strength, power, determination, as well as passion, desire, and love. Red is a very emotionally intense color. It enhances human metabolism, increases respirational rate, and raises blood pressure. Alright, but that's just a little bit more in very detail, but immediately contrast the blue and the red, and that's a theme in the trilogy. You find even in the music video themselves, where you get two versions of Ronnie, where it represents the two different sides of him, and where they're sort of at war against each other, and they're sort of fighting against each other. And I actually do love that symbolism. I actually love that idea, that concept. Now I went a little bit more into detail with the blue and the red. So if you look at a spiritual level, all right, I'm not going to go into the spiritual side of things. That's not what this is about. I was just thinking it's a very interesting thing to see the different contrast. Um, and then we'll see how it links in with the dream symbolism. So, blue is calming and is a spiritually very deep color, often associated with stability, honesty, truth, and tranquility. In different cultures, color blue carries different meanings, but there are universal associations which from originate from our visual perception of the world as it is or as how it appears to be, which is very interesting. Okay, because if you look at it like that, the blue represents how people perceive him to be, how people expect him, or how he appears in to the public eye. Then you've got red. Red is the color of physical energy, passion, courage, power, will, and desire. Red brings passion and strength to your relationships, your life, and your work. Red spiritually affects stability, security, grounding, courage, action, physical and emotional survival. Where again, it's the whole thing about fighting and whatever, and it's sort of like, and that is a very common theme you find throughout the whole thing. It's him fighting with himself. It's him fighting with what the people want him to be. And you'd see, and we'll go through the progression of it as we go through the different songs as well, where there is a clear progression of it, and it becomes even more dominant in Losing My Life, the next song, and then sort of like finalizes in Drugs, and I actually love the way he portrayed it, but we'll get to that when we get to those songs. So then I also went and did a little bit further research to see what does the colors represent in dreams. Because if you look at the music video, there's parts where he is floating in the clouds and his eyes are closed, and it's like he's in a dream state, and that's a very common theme throughout the other songs. We'll get to that, of course, when we get to it. But but it's present. So blue. In dreams, blue represents truth, wisdom, heaven, eternity, devotion, tranquility, loyalty, and openness. Perhaps you are expressing a desire to get away. The presence of this color in your dream may symbolize your spiritual guide and your optimism of the future. You have clarity of mind. Now see, even in this, even blue itself is contrast. Red itself is being contrast. It is so amazing the way he did that, and the way, especially when it gets more intense, the differentiation between the two being like flickering, and with like the things going on in his head being like, deciding between what the world wants him to be and what he wants to be, and what he really is, and who he really is. And red in dreams is symbolically the color of the heart. So the color red in a dream might symbolize love, attraction, passion, and other intense, overwhelming emotions of the heart. And red in dreams is also linked to anger. So again, it all works. Alright, that's the thing by Ronnie Radkey. Right. Now, I know I keep praising Ronnie, and I keep going back. Don't worry, this channel isn't going to be completely devoted to Ronnie. Alright, that's not the idea. I'm just doing the trilogy, and then we're already moving on to the next artist, which I will announce later on. I've already got things set up for quite a while ahead. So I've been sitting also planning out a bit what have you. But man, I love it. I love that so much. Where literally he comes and just throws everything in contrast, and he's like, and everything just links in, and that just emphasizes the genius of him as an artist. No, he's not. And I am aware there are other people also involved in the production of the music video and all that, but don't get it wrong. The main brain behind everything is Ronnie. Okay. Um, and yes, all credit due to the band, to the rest of the band as well, and the people in production, what have you, of the music videos. They also deserve all their credit due, because they also play a part of it. And oh man, but yeah, well, I think I'm gonna cut it there though for this video. I can, like I mentioned earlier, I can babble on and on. This has become a long video. The video is already about, oh wow, over 40 minutes. But yeah, so like I said, there's gonna be long. These videos are a little bit longer than usual, but I go very into detail as we have, and I really love the idea of going through stuff like this and really seeing what these artists are capable of, and it's so inspirational. That as an artist and musician myself, that is it for this video, people. If you like this video, if you really are psyched for what's happening in the music industry, give this channel a like and a sub, and leave a comment down below. Leave it a comment down below also if you want any, if you've got any suggestions. I will check out the suggestions. I will get to them if I can. And have yourself a good day, and see you next week for Losing My Life.
I got the motherfucking world in my palm now.